on that. Why does it want me to? That didn't work out. Okay. All right. So I'm live. Hello. Hello everyone. I am Sandra. My page is Kingdom Acres Homemaking and Homestead. I do a lot of crafting. It's kind of my thing. It's kind of my jam. I love a well-decorated home, and my style is primitive, farmhouse kind of, but I do like some bling. I'm kind of a Mod Podge of styles. It is it's a colder day here in Texas. I am Gulf Coast, Texas, so just south of Houston, and we are just enjoying the weather over here. Normally it is very hot, but people forget how to drive. People forget how to drive here when the weather changes. I don't know what it does to them, but so I am staying home. We are crafting. I went and dropped my daughter and her friend off at our elderly neighbor's house. Decline that. I don't need a co-host, but thank you. So I don't usually go live on YouTube and TikTok. I think I've gone live on YouTube and TikTok maybe once. So I've got TikTok up here, YouTube down here. I've just got YouTube on just like a little stand. You guys can't see my table, but I'm going to try to bring things where you can see it. So today we're going to be working on a ornament. And I just have this ugly little silver ornament, and we're going to make it fancy. I did one yesterday. This is what I made yesterday. So I took one that looked exactly like this and I turned it into this. There's the bottom, has little filigrees and things. I'll show you guys down here. It's just a cool little project, super easy. There is nothing about this project that no ordinary person couldn't do. It's just so stinking simple. So we are going to be making this today. And I will have to, y'all will have to let me know what you guys think. Give me some hearts up here and down here. I don't know how it works on YouTube, but give me some hearts if you guys like this this little ornament that I made. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or do on these lives. I am usually a Facebook creator, so, but I just figured, why not? I have both these apps and I post on both of them, so why not do a little live on TikTok and YouTube. And this is what we're going to be making today. So first thing you're going to need is your plain Jane plastic ornament, okay? Plastic ornament. Then you are also going to need some any color Crayola Model Magic clay, okay? Crayola Model Magic clay. If I could turn this the other way so y'all could actually read it, I would. Oh, thank you. But that's what that is. Crayola Model Magic. And then some fun molds, whatever you like. I got a pack of 3 of these. Oh gosh, where did the rest of my molds go? Let me look around. I've been crafting quite a bit the past couple days. And oh gosh, if those girls took off with my molds, we are going to be in all kinds of trouble over here. Lily. Oh, never mind. They're right in front of me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is one. This is the big one. And yesterday I was fooling around with these and I just made like a little strip. And so I made this last night. And it's still malleable. So if you wanted to do just like something like that, or cut it and, you know, do some different things with it, you could. So you can make these in advance. Yesterday when I did this, I molded them and then immediately pulled them from the mold and used them while they were still soft. It's probably a good idea to let them dry out a little bit because I am not a careful person. I can be kind of clumsy sometimes, and so it's better to let them dry a little bit if you can. I'm impatient though, so but it still came out really well. But you can tell where I kind of got to stuff. If you're me, it's kind of like cake decorating, where you think that it's not your best work, but you're the only one that can really tell that it's not great. So there's that mold, and then there's this mold with these little designs on it. And then the third mold that came in the packet with a little flap is this one. And I used this little round to do my top, and my bottom was these two little rounds. So there's the bottom and the top, and those are the two little rounds. So I like them. I like how it turned out. Even though it's more, I would say this is more kind of Victorian or Renaissance style, whereas I'm more like rustic. And oh, I need to turn this because I don't think that y'all are allowed to see my door decor. I have a antique Western decor up above my door, and people on YouTube could see that, and I don't think I'm allowed to have that showing, even though it's not actually like usable. So anyways, back to what I was saying. My personal style is more rustic, but I'm still girly, and I really like things like this. Rustic can be girly too. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just a little bit more bougie. Just a little bit more on the bougie side. So first thing we're gonna do is we are going to make our molds. But let me do here. You don't want to just pull out your clay and just go to town sticking it into the mold and take out, I don't know, that's probably all we'll use. If we do pull out any more, it will likely not be very much, because a little bit of this clay goes a long way in these molds. Really, just like a dime size amount of clay for one little thing usually. So we're gonna work this clay, and we're just gonna knead it on itself. And what we're doing here is we are priming it for use, so that as it dries, it doesn't crack. Because if you just pull it out and use it, there's a possibility that it could crack as it dries. So you really want to knead it and prep it for use. I love Crayola Model Magic. It is probably my most favorite of all of the air dry clays on the market. The other clays do have their place, but this is my favorite. Just the other day, I made this sweet little cookie tin to sit in my tree, and look at it. It says Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And inside it has the little cookies. So, and I just made little like snickerdoodle cookies out of that, out of the Model Magic. So, and it just sits there in my tree, like a little tree branch sitter. I like to do a variety of things to my tree because I am an eclectic person and I like variety. So we have things that sit in the tree, sit on the tree, and hang from the branches. All right, so that should be good. I worked that plenty, and you'll see. I work with cinnamon. Those cookies have sprinkles of cinnamon and instant coffee and Epsom salt to make them look snickerdoodle-ish. So I'm constantly fighting a battle of things, of like little particles. Not just that, I also have a golden retriever, and I love her dearly, but her fur is everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this little round one, and you'll see, and I'm just gonna stick that in there. That was the tiniest bit of clay. Look at that, the tiniest bit of clay, and it's too much. So I'm just gonna take it out, kind of put it in half there, and we'll try again with that. It's still too much. I'm just gonna pull off a little bit more. Okay. Now with this air dry clay, when it's wet and you put it down anywhere, it has the possibility of permanently adhering to whatever you set it on. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. And I'm just going to I'm just popping it out here. I'm trying to not touch it if I can keep from touching it, but it's gonna make me touch it because it's wanting to fight me, which is, that's okay. Because I still have to kind of adjust just ever so slightly. Okay. There. And we can actually take it, I'm gonna put it on the very underside of the bulb. And I'm just gonna stick it right on there. It's still wet, so it will likely stick just fine and not ever come off. Once it dries on something, that's it. It's there for life. Okay, so there's that. I have no idea. Hello, hello. I don't know how to tell like how many people are watching or anything like that on TikTok. I can see I don't have any friends over here on YouTube. That's okay. I'm just gonna talk to y'all like y'all are still here. And when anybody comes back to watch the replay, that's just fine. I have this old jar here. And because you don't want to just like set this down on a hard surface, I want it to be where I can just kind of set that there for it to have its own little stand. Okay, now I've got this little bit that I had pulled off of that first round that we did, and I'm just going to do another one of those for the top. Actually, I'm gonna do this one, the little flowers, the little flowery one. That's what we're gonna use. I had used this one for the bottom of the other bulb, but we are going to use this one for the top this time, because I think that those designs will keep better when I cut out the circle for the top of the bulb to fit through. So there we go. We're just gonna try to kind of pull and pop, pull and pop. Boop, boop, boop. All right. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I don't know what that is. Okay. I'm very new to TikTok, so y'all please bear with me if I'm not doing the stuff that other creators normally do. That's because I simply don't know to do it. Sorry guys. All right, so I'm going to take the top of this and I'm just going to cut out a circle like that and peel it off. Oh my gosh, it's stuck. It'll stick. You have to be careful that you're not adhering it to the bulb just yet. If you need a twist, you can, and if you need to start over, you can do that too at this point, because sometimes it can be a little tricky to do this part. Yeah, I'm just going to start over with that one. But the clay goes in there, so you're probably going to need a pinch more off of your thing, and we'll just do that again. When it comes to clay, it's kind of just trial and error and working with it, and don't get frustrated. I mean, you will get frustrated eventually, but at some point you will, but it's okay. Just keep persevering. Persevere, it'll be fine. You'll make it through. All right. And I do have a little bowl of cornstarch here. I think I'm just going to do it the other way. That way we can just kind of push it down on there, and then it's just there to stay. Okay. And now I've got my little lid, and I'm just going to stick that down back on there. Now it's stuck. Now it's stuck on there. Already it's looking cute. If at this point you wanted to just like Mod Podge on a an image or something, you could do that, and that just really elevates the look of this already. But we are bougie, so we're gonna keep going with our things. This one right here is this. Okay, let me put that up there. That little image right there, and I have it this way on this side, and then I have it flipped the other way on the other side. It's this one right here, and then the other ones between those are that right there. So I have this and this. So we will go ahead and do those little filigrees on there. Those are the feathery looking ones. I have my messages coming through on my iPad while I'm live. I don't know if that ever happens to y'all where you forget to put it on do not disturb. And I'm just seeing portions of our family chat come through. And right now there's talk of a headless snowman. And then someone else praying the Lord for their protection driving to work this morning. So, because again, this area, even though we are not like in Houston, if you are anywhere even remotely close to Houston, the driving situation is hard, very hard. And I grew up in a village in New Mexico, literally a village, okay? And so moving here has been quite an adventure. Of course, I've been here in the Houston area for over, let's see, 12 years now? Yep, over 12 years now. So it has been a while that we've been adapting to this whole situation. But when we were first looking at places to live, my husband took me to Katy, and I was like, absolutely not. We will not be living here. I'm like, I grew up in a village in New Mexico. There's no way. There is no way. How do you know things on here? Okay, let's see. I'm trying to see. There's all these little things. People saying hi. Hello. Hello. I see Martin Gomez just came in. Good morning. As you're coming in, please say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know. Okay, so over here, I've got this one done. I'm going to go ahead and do this other one. And I know I've already gotten way too much clay for that. Okay, so I've got this, and I'm just pushing it in. Just pushing it in. I don't know how many people are watching or how many people are with me. Okay, oh, is that it? Okay, I don't know. I don't know. But we're just doing a sweet little craft over here, and I don't know. I don't really know the market on TikTok or YouTube lives. I've never actually seen anybody live that I wasn't following. So I don't know how it works on YouTube, how people know that you're live. Like, does it just go into the normal feed? I don't know. I don't know. I have watched people live on YouTube, but they're people that I'm following on Facebook, and so I knew that they were going live. Just trying to figure it all out. You know how that goes. When you're doing something new, you just kind of have to jump in and try it out and see how it goes. Okay. I'm just trying to kind of use my nail and scrape off any excess around those little delicate edges so that we can get the fine detail in there. Just pushing it in more and more. More and more pushing it in. Okay. Now I do go live quite a bit from Facebook. That page name is Kingdom Acres Homestead. I'm sorry, Kingdom Acres Homemaking and Homestead. And I do a ton of fun crafts over there. I go live with a group of other ladies often, and it's just tons of fun all the time. So, and right now on my Facebook page, I am sharing daily Advent challenges. So if that's something you are interested in doing, partaking in with your family, you should definitely give that a try. Give it a gander. Take a look-see. Ah! It's sticking. Hold on. I'm just gonna stick it right back in there. And because that stretched as I was trying to take it out. Maybe I'll just do a little, okay, not with that though. I'll do it with this one. A little bit of cornstarch in there to help it release, because that one's just being difficult. Of course, you don't want to put too much and then not have it go in there at all. Edward Mascarenas, hello. How are y'all? How are you? Christopher Jones, hi. Hello, hi. How are y'all? As you're coming in, please let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what you're up to today. Let me know what the weather's like where you're at. It is cold here. It's cold. I'm in my sweater, in my sweats. But anytime I go outside, you bet your buttons I'm putting on a sweater. It is cold. And I stay fairly cold on a normal Texas day. I call summer second winter because once the weather gets up over about 70 degrees, everybody thinks that they need to turn their AC on to 0. And it is just so cold And so like I walk through the grocery store just like shivering. And so I tend to take a sweater with me. Even during the summer, I make sure I have a sweater. Okay, so that one has come out. Let's see, you guys can probably see this really well. Okay, that one has come out really cool, really nice. And I'm going to put the swirly part facing up, and I'm just going to put it starting right on the seam. Now, I did use that cornstarch, so it's not going to want to stick. I'm just going to use some Tite Bond Quick and Thick on the filigree itself, the back of the filigree, just a tiny bit. You don't need a whole lot. Just put a tiny bit on there. I just put a tiny bead of it on there, and then I'm just going to stick that right on. Okay. So that's how that's looking on there. Okay. And now I'm going to try to get this other one loose. It looks like I've got a little flap that I need to remove. A little bit of excess coming over the sides there. I just use my nail. I know a lot of people have fancy tools and things for that. I just use my nail. I've got 4 kids. 2 of them are adults. 1 of them's in college. And I just don't feel the need to spend extra money on things that I don't absolutely need. But my fingernail can do the job. My fingernail will get her done. Okay, let's see if this is gonna pop out. Because I might need to, yeah, it's, that little delicate edge right there is really where you're gonna need to put the cornstarch. And you just need a very slight amount. Like you shouldn't even be able to see it in there. I'm just gonna push that back in. 12:28. I've been live now for almost 30 minutes. I don't want to spend all day on here, but I am wanting to at least get this most of the way finished so y'all can see what all goes into making this ornament. If you want to do it at home yourself, you can do it. And if you do, send me a message. Let me know how it turned out. If you are on YouTube, I know there's no direct way to message me or share any of that, so you can email me at sandra.waldrop2003@gmail.com. And I am excited to hear from anybody who is trying out my crafts that I share. Okay, got it out. There we go, there we go. And I'm just gonna put another little dab or 2 of my Tite Bond Quick and Thick. So I'm gonna get a little dab on that edge and make sure that sticks down pretty good. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my ball to my little clay decor here. There we go. So now it's got its little ears on. That's what it looks like right now, just little ears on there. Or little arms. Kind of looks like little arms. Okay. Here's that. And now I will do a couple of the big pretty one. The big pretty one. Okay. And I'm just gonna come right on in here with the cornstarch because it has a lot of little teeny tiny spots where you're gonna really want to make sure that that clay releases. And I'm using the same brush that I use for my rub and buff. That's what I use for the gold, so I just got a little bit of gold in there. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anything because I'm using raw clay and I'm anticipating painting it. So I'm perfectly okay with that. Do I have any crafters watching? Any crafters? Hello, Stallion and Christy. Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to my little corner of Santa's workshop. We are just working away over here. Doing some little fun little crafts that look like they would be really hard, but they're not. This is easy stuff that anybody could do. It just takes a little bit of patience. I'm going to pull some of that clay off because I put too much in there as usual. Okay. And now I think I've got it just about good. I just want to make sure that all the clay gets into those little nooks and crannies so we have all of that detail. I really want all of that detail. Okay. All right, we've got this one nice and full. And you'll see that nice and full. I'm just going to pull it out. I'm working it out. Try to kind of pull it from the edges. You can bend it, see if it'll release that way. Pull, 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 pull and push, pull and push. You just kind of have to plead with it a little bit. Release, my friend. Okay. Also, you don't want it to roll back on itself because then it'll stick. If it touches itself, it will stick. So just be careful with that. I'll start from the other edge now. Other end. Get that coming out. And you want to be real gentle with it so that you can keep that detail on the front. But again, when you're rolling, be careful. You don't want to it to touch itself. Real gentle. If you wanted to leave these in the mold for, I don't know, an hour or so before you remove it, that would help it to harden, so you're not going to struggle with so much movement of the design. So that does help. It does help. All right. Oh gosh. It moved. Okay, so that's how it came out. That's how it came out. Okay. And I'm just going to flip it over and put some of this Type Bond Quick and Thick on it. And I'm going to do this one this way. And I'm just just want to make sure that everything just kind of uniform. So I'm going to move this around and try to kind of get it. All right. Okay. So with the other one, when I first did it, I only put this on and then I painted it, and then I went back and added the other things and like repainted those. So I'm just to save time, I'm not going to do the back one. I'm just going to do these right now, and then I'll go back and add those because I would really like to not be on here for 12 hours. So now I'm going to just get out my Waverly chalk paint in color Moss. Okay, this is very accessible. You can find this at Walmart. You can find it Hobby Lobby, just Amazon, just about anywhere. Okay, and what I like is is to get a good amount into the lid, because you don't want to really glob this on, but you want to be able to get a decent amount on your brush. I don't think I'm going to use that brush. Let's see. What else do I got here? The brush I was using right now is in the kitchen because I took it in there and washed it and left it in the dish dryer. As usual. As usual. Okay, so I'm going to use one of my poor neglected little brushes here. And this set I just got from Walmart. Again, I don't do anything like super fancy or crazy. Let's see. So I'm just gonna kind of have it in there, get my brush kind of softened with that paint because it was kind of sad. Okay, and I'm just gonna go around, make sure to get into all the little areas beneath or between the ball and your little decals there. You don't want any of that silver showing. If you wanted to leave it at this point to dry before you paint, that is definitely going to help you. But because I'm live, I'm not doing that. I'm not really liking this paintbrush though. It's too stiff. It feels too stiff. Let's see if maybe I can. Okay, here's a good one. I'm gonna set that down there. Here's a nice soft one that'll not mess with my designs. I'm just painting, making sure to get into all the little nooks and crannies, but not have any of the paint pooling. That's the trick, is that you don't want any paint pooling around your design. Okay, you want the paint to get in there, but you don't want it to pool. Okay. So I do, I'm not going to say I do because I don't do it normally. I have gotten on and seen other people do lives on TikTok. I just don't spend a ton of time on TikTok because it will swallow up my day. My goodness gracious. It's just people having so much fun over here on TikTok. Let's see, but I'm going to figure all this out. I am going to figure all this out. I asked one of my fellow crafters, because she does her lives, Miss Lydia. She does her live on Facebook and she goes live on TikTok at the same time. And I thought that was so cool. And I asked her, I was like, I need to know your secrets. And she was like, I just push the live button and then I go live. It's like, okay. So that's what I'm doing. Just sometimes you just got to hit that live button, take a deep breath, and jump in and see what is what. I know that I'm very blessed to be able to go live, because normally you need 1,000 followers to be able to go live on TikTok, and I only have like 300. But for some reason, TikTok had given me permission to go live. They'd given me permission. I want to say it was like, it's been almost a year. It has been almost a year. And I went live once, but I've been so busy trying to build my Facebook that I haven't really gone live or done anything much on TikTok. And so I'm wanting to get more over here on TikTok and YouTube. But I know it's a journey. Hello, Jeremy Hughes. MS Blondie, hello. Mindy's Driver, hello. How are y'all? So, sometimes you just gotta try it. See what's gonna happen. And I'm just, okay, that's how that's looking. I'm just getting into all the little nooks and crannies. It's already looking amazing, right? Like, I am so pleased with how these little ornaments are turning out. Now, when you go over it with your first layer of paint, you're gonna be like, oh, that looks horrible. Well, dry it, okay? Dry it and then go over it again, because the more layers you put, the less you're gonna see those stroke marks, and it's going to look more velvety and gorgeous, okay? And you can even sprinkle this with some baking soda to give it that velvety look. I'm not doing that with these particular ones, but I may be doing some like that in the future. In the future, I may. If you guys hear kind of like a wind sound, it is my air purifier. We live out in the boondocks, and the dust around here is just crazy. We had a cotton farm right behind us, and they sold it to a solar panel farm. So nothing grows out there. They don't water, nothing, and it's just dirt. They keep anything from growing. So I'm sure they spray it with all kinds of chemicals, and I am not a fan, but what can you do? It's not my property, and it's not up to me. Nobody asked my opinion on it. So, right. Isn't that looking amazing, y'all? What do y'all think? What do y'all think about that? Y'all like it? Hope you guys like it. Pretty cool thing that I'm trying out here. I'm pretty excited about it. Pretty excited about it. Again, if you are doing this on wet clay, you really want to use a very soft bristle brush, because it will smoosh your design. It'll smoosh it. And you want to make sure to get into all those little nooks and crannies. You don't want any of that white. And you'll just keep on going with it. You will likely not get all the white spots in your first go, okay? So don't worry. You're gonna do several layers of paint on this. And I'm gonna try not to go over an hour, so I have 15 more minutes. Okay, so we'll just probably just do that much right now so I can at least get this going enough where you can see it finished-ish. I'm just gonna, this is just a little heat tool. If you don't have a heat tool, I started out my crafting with a blow dryer. I would just go and get my blow dryer out of my bathroom before my lives. And then my husband has a beard and he blows his beard dry or it gets all crazy. And so he would go, you know, come in from working outside or something, go in and take a shower while I was live, and then get out of the shower and he's like, oh my gosh, where's the blow dryer? It's so funny. Okay. So it's not quite dry, just a couple more seconds on it should be enough. Okay. And you're just gonna go in there with your second coat and get all through there. And if you hit it fast enough with the paint while it's still warm from that dryer, it dries really fast, and I like that. I like that. Less of a chance that I am going to get it all over myself, because I will. I am notorious for doing just that, getting paint everywhere. Goodness, I have a cat outside and he is just not excited about being a barn cat today. He keeps running inside and we let him come in for a little bit, but then he has to go back out because if not, he will use the restroom in the house. He's not litter box trained. We don't keep a litter box because he is our barn cat. It's his job to go and keep the mice out of our horse feed and cow feed and all that jazz. But on days like today, he has grievance with his job in life. It's like, wait a second, you're telling me that I can't come in there and lay on your couch and poop on your bed, which he has done that. So I just got a new comforter set. Like, no thanks, I don't need that kind of love right now, thanks though. I know he's just giving us the love. Right. All right. See, it goes much faster in the second round of all that. Okay. And then just give it another dry. Dry it again. It works really well to dry between the coats because if you try to go over it again while it's wet, it just moves the paint around and it doesn't actually give it another coat. So you definitely want to dry it between your layers. We may only need 2 coats on this for this one. If you have any little like sculpting tools, if you are a clay person and you have little tools, you could definitely go in here and kind of fix stuff up that got pushed around. But you'll want to do that before you paint, okay? Sounds like airplanes are flying over. It's really like crazy out there right now. Maybe it's thunder, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I'll just set that down right there. don't see any cars in my driveway, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm just going to put the rest of this clay back in my bag so it doesn't dry out and get all hard. I love that they use Mylar because when you crimp it, it stays, and then everything is just good. So now I'm going to use this, this is Rub and Buff in antique gold, and it's literally like maybe 10 bucks for this little thing, and you think, oh my gosh, $10 for that, but I've had this for like a year now, and I'm not even 2/3 of the way through it, just a little over half. So I'd say that's a pretty decent investment. Pretty decent. The only kicker is I see a lot of people go through this quickly because they use their fingers. And the stuff, when you use your fingers, it stays on your fingers instead of going really well onto your project. So I really am intentional about using a brush. I like this brush because it moves well, it fans out well, and I can use it in a lot of different ways. But right now, I'm just gonna kind of get in between there, in between on that ball so that it gets a good coat of that gold with that green shining through. And I'm just getting a little bit more of that Rub and Buff on my brush. You'll just keep doing that, kind of go back in for a little bit more, and then come back through. And this part is the easy part. You would think that this would be the hard part, but you're just literally getting those raised edges. See that? You'll see that? How easy that was? You guys can invest as little or as much time into this. You can do different designs, use different molds, but the key here is that Crayola Model Magic. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I'm not getting any kickbacks for that. This is just the product that I like and use, and I recommend for this specific project. And if you're doing any fake bakes, I love it for fake bakes too. It is my absolute hands down favorite. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous, y'all? That is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it so, so much. Okay, now what I do at this point, pretend all of this is painted, okay? I will set it on my stand here, and I will use some acrylic paint to paint my little top, because I don't like that silver top that it came with, the hanger. So I get the brown, 7 minutes. The brown, what is it? Dark chocolate, Americana Deco Art, acrylic paint. And again, I'm just kind of going into that lid there, and I'm just gonna go on that top, go all the way around it on top, do the little, that. Okay, and it looks super streaky, that first coat, right? It does not look good when you do the first coat. I don't know who that is. I don't know what it means to, I keep getting requests for like co-hosting. People are wanting to come on my live. I don't understand what that means. Like, what exactly does that do? I need somebody to help me out here. All right, so I'm just drying that top. Okay, just drying that top, and then I'm just gonna get a little bit more And I'm gonna do, just depending on how much it actually needs, either 2 or 3 coats, because one absolutely is not enough for this project. It is not. When you're done, you can put a matte sealant if you like, but all of my my ornaments get wrapped, like they sit there on the tree and then they get wrapped and put away in the attic. I really doubt that it needs a sealant, but everyone's got a different journey, right? So, all right. So now that's how that top is looking. I don't think I'll need another layer because we are actually going to make it gold, okay? We're going to make it that antique gold just like we did the rest of it. So give that a dry. Make sure it's really good and dry on there. Scratch your face if you need it. Scratch your face if you need it. I'm going to get an iPad tripod so I don't have y'all sitting like this. I'm not liking this angle for y'all. I would like for y'all to be the same angle as my TikTok humans. That should be good right there. Now I'm just going to get more of that rub and buff out on my dill, and I'm just going to give it a good coat. That rub and buff. Take it from cheap silver looking to gold. Get my lid. Make sure you put your lids back on your stuff, y'all. All right. See the difference doing the undertone of brown versus the green? I just think that it gives it a really nice look. Okay. So, and then this is what it should look like when it's all done. And you've just taken a cheap Dollar Tree ornament and made something unique and beautiful and quality for your tree. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think anybody would love these. If you did a bunch of them and took them to a craft fair or a farmer's market, Etsy, you could sell these and make a ton of money doing that. I'm not great at selling or shipping things. Got a lot of stuff going on over here in the Kingdom Acres household. So anyways, all right, that is it. That is all I have for y'all today. I thank you so much for being with me. If you are watching on replay, please be sure and comment. Let me know. Give me a hashtag replay, or just let me know. Say, hey, I'm watching your replay and I love your project. All right. Thank you guys again so much for being here. Thank you for walking with me through this project, and thank you for homemaking a homemade home with me today. I'm going to figure out how to end these lives right now. Okay, so let's start with YouTube. Do I just hit exit? I guess just hit X. You want to stop streaming?